So today we're going to cover 2010 Section B, Question 1, Higher Level Leaving Cert Design Communication Graphics question. So I have the setup drawn already here and the plan in each setup line. If you're wondering how this is achieved or how I've gotten to this stage, look back at the previous videos on this channel, and it gives the setup in one of the videos there, a short little video of the actual setup for a perspective question. So in this video here, I'm just going to go through as quick as I can the solution to this perspective question that was given in the Leaving Cert. So I have a little 3D graphical sketch there over on this side just to try help us with our visualization throughout the video. Okay, so the first step anyway is to bring down my height line. So where do I get this height line? Alright, as the picture plane passes through corner A, when I join A to the spectator and bring it down perpendicular to these planes that I'm after setting up. So this is the height line, right? So we can call this a height line because it touches the picture plane. So on this height line then, I can measure off different heights that will be given in the elevation of the question. So 10 was given as H1, 10 for H2, 10 for H3, and 60 for H4. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to draw is these steps, these stepped inclines, right? And they're simple enough to draw, right? So we know that the step is touching the ground line, so I can vanish these back to both my vanishing points. I can do the same with H1, H1. So now I have a rough outline of the steps, but I'm not sure where they're stopped and where they're, how wide they are on each side yet, okay? So to achieve this, same as the other video I showed, okay, where it hits this little wall here. So if we view this plane here, this wall part is represented by this place in the plane. The roof is represented by this area, and the 3 steps are represented here then, with the 3rd step being the widest, okay? So I'm going to join where this step ends in plane to the spectator. I'm going to bring it straight down to my drawing below. I'm going to do the same with this side here. Already know the step is taking place, so I know that this is the back of the step. Join it to the vanishing point. I can also join this point here to the vanishing point. So already I have one little square of the step done, right, in light pencil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the 2nd step, so it's going from H2 this time to the vanishing points. And when I have majority of this step done, I'm going to start using my darker pencil to line in the steps, so I know where I'm going. I'm getting a more realistic view of it, and I won't get lost, okay? So sometimes you can get lost in these questions. So I can finish this point back, and now I'm going to start going over lightly just in the areas I know are definite. So like this corner here goes back to this corner, comes up, so we can see the steps are taking place already. Now I need to find out how far this step goes back here. And once again, same as before, I join it where it is on plane to spectator. Where it crosses the picture plane is brought straight down. Where these lines intersect can be vanished back in again to this vanishing point. So now After finding out another piece of detail, again, this point here as well can be vanished back to this vanishing point, and where they intersect is the next back corner of the step. So you can see that these questions are quite repetitive. It's just bringing down lines, vanishing them back so far. So I'm going to do the same now with H3 on my true lint line, as we'll call it, let's say. So this is the line where I measured all my true lints off of in the start. So now I'm going to vanish these once again. So vanish from H3 to be able to get the height of the third step. So H3 is back here. So where they intersect there, so that's the height now of the third step. Vanish it back to this direction. So you can see why it's a good idea to use the HB or whatever dart pencil you have as you're drawing the actual artifact, because it can get quite confusing with all the lines. Okay. Once again, now I want to see how far back the third step is. I can bring down this point till it crosses this line here and vanish this back. So now I actually have my steps done. I know this back wall here then is going to go down ground level here. It's going to go back a certain distance here, which I'm going to get now. Okay. Once again, join the very back corner, spectator, or across the picture plane. Bring it down. So this is the start of my back wall here, okay? And what height represents the back wall here? H4. So once again, vanish H4 back. I'm now left with this detail here. This goes down to here. Like so. Boom. Okay. Once again, can vanish this point up to this vanishing point here. So I know now that my roof is along this area here. The next part of it now, okay? So the next part of it gives in the question is the angle that this roof was at. So it says this roof is at a 30-degree angle, okay? So what I'm going to have to set up for this to achieve this roof in the perspective is an auxiliary vanishing point, which we've done before, okay? So how I go about this is, as it's 30 degrees, okay? And if we think about it, right? If I draw my auxiliary vanishing point down here and I project up this way, it's going to give us the roof going in the right angle. Whereas if I was to mark it here, my lines would be projecting down this way. The roof would be at the wrong angle. The roof would be twisted in the wrong way. So that's basically how we know where to place the auxiliary vanishing point, okay? So I'm going to get my protractor here. And I'm going to measure my 30 degrees. Once again, now this video was also shown in one of my setup videos earlier on. So if you're unsure on what these auxiliary vanishing points are and how they're found, look back to that video in the channel here as well. So I'm after measuring my 30 degrees, and it gives me this kind of a brownish line here. So that's in there then, is my 30 degrees. Okay. I must now create a right angle here at this vanishing point in order to get my height from my auxiliary vanishing point. And that gives me a height there then that I can use for my auxiliary vanishing point. So I'll get the height with the compass, swing it down here, and I extend on this till I get my auxiliary vanishing point. So I'll call it AXP, auxiliary vanishing point. From here now, I can join on to find out more of the roof details. So I know it's coming from this corner here, this corner here. Now I must get the actual roof positioning from this drawing. And I know that the roof is coming out as far as this drilling line, so I can draw this up here. So it's running slightly in, which is not ideal, to my spectator point. I'll vanish these back to this direction. And if I bring down the extreme side of the object, I'll know where my roof finishes. And this in turn can be once again vanished down to the auxiliary vanishing point. So now it's becoming more complete once again there by a series of like 4 lines, where after making the object look much more complete. It's going to be going back this line, this direction here then. So this was vanished, so it's going to be going back to here. And I can join this to here then. No, okay, that's my roof section done. So now all I have to do is that little wall section, okay? And I have all my points, so it's not going to be difficult, okay? So I know it's going to come up here. So I have all these intersection lines done already. It's going to come up here to my H3 height. So it's given in the question really, right? It's going to come back this vanishing line a certain distance. So all I do, bring down my line that I've already brought down for the roof, bring it down. So it's going to come back to this area here. And these points simply then can get joined so I can bring this then to the spectator or across the picture plane. It comes straight down to meet the roof. So this section goes here. And let's finish up then with our full artifact. And that's just a simple solution then to that question.